When we talk about Buddhism, what comes to mind? The image of someone with a shaved head meditating, or perhaps a monastery far from everything and everyone. That's okay. These thoughts aren't wrong, but there are many other ways to practice Buddhism.
Hello there, welcome to High Vibes. Today we're going to look at 7 teachings that should definitely find a place in your routine. If you enjoy this type of video, please subscribe to High Vibes. Buddhism started in India with Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, the Awakened One, or the Enlightened One, in Sanskrit, and is currently the 4th largest religion in the world. It is also considered a philosophy, since its teachings are applied to the individual life of each being. Siddhartha Gautama was raised as an emperor from an early age. He was born in a luxurious palace protected from all the evils of the world. He lived surrounded by love, art, and beauty. At the age of 29, he left this perfect world and was faced with a harsh reality. He gave up all pleasures and comforts and began his long journey in search of a solution to human suffering. After 49 days of meditation, he reached the highest level of enlightenment, nirvana. Buddha is not a god, and Buddhism does not worship gods. He simply calls himself the Awakened One. Even though his story is incredible, this is the journey of a mortal human being of flesh and blood. It's important to understand that anyone can achieve enlightenment. Gautama's first attempt at enlightenment was to sit under a tree in meditation and eat only the fruits that fell into his lap. After nearly dying from malnutrition, he came to an understanding that was called the middle way. In other words, just as extreme comfort and pleasure do not cure suffering, neither does extreme abdication. Even for those who don't follow Buddhism, it's possible to find in Buddha's words all the wisdom and inspiration to transform daily life and thus have a lighter, fuller, and more peaceful life. So when you need advice or tip on what to do in difficult times, look to Buddha's teachings and try to use them daily. Do not look in the world for what is within you. When we are faced with a situation that sometimes shakes the structure of our lives, we believe that the solution lies with other people or is lost in the world. From this point on, we embark on a journey that leads nowhere because this search for answers and solutions is not on the outside. Buddha's teaching says that the path lies in the heart. The desired solution is within each one of us. Looking within yourself and seeing without judgment your desires, ambitions, loves, pains, and fears is the first step towards spiritual growth and the transformation of the way you live. A jug fills drop by drop. Spiritual growth does not happen overnight, just like any internal transformation. Everything has its own time. The passing of hours, days, months, and years is different for each person. While some believe that time is getting faster and faster, others feel it's slowing down. Just as a jar is filled drop by drop, virtue is achieved through patience. Therefore, don't judge the time it takes you and others to accomplish or understand something. The interior needs to be filled little by little, day by day, to consolidate the internal transformation. Everything has a purpose, even evil. Philosophical traditions argue in their theories that human consciousness works through contrast. If we only come into contact with something absolute, without contrast, we won't know its value, because there is nothing to compare it to. When we deal with the opposite of the absolute, we can understand the value that each one has through comparison between them. For example, a person who has suffered from serious health problems for a long time recognizes life as the most precious thing. Someone who hasn't experienced this situation firsthand may not live life with such vigor, as they can't imagine what it is like to be close to death. Buddha teaches that Unfortunately, the hardship of life needs to be felt in order to know how to value what is good and important for our experience on Earth. You are responsible for your health. A mind addicted to sad, resentful, and destructive thoughts will affect the physical health of the body. Just because we need to go through difficult situations to appreciate the good doesn't mean we need to cultivate these pains within ourselves. Thoughts are not real, so don't let them dominate your life. This is not an easy thing to do, but it needs to be done. Just like a jar that fills up drop by drop, you can add happiness to your life day after day. This way, physical pain can be cured, and you can feel lighter to follow your path of spiritual development.
You don't fight hate with hate. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And you've probably heard this phrase before, haven't you? These words are based on the belief that evil must be met with evil. In doing so, the winners are not us, but the evil in the world. By feeding hatred, it spreads through people until it reaches you again. After all, the connection that exists between living beings allows each one to be affected by the same energies such as evil, fear, and hatred. Wounded pride can be mended with acts of love, which are as pure and light as spirituality. Rejoice in the victories of others. Envy is a feeling that, at first glance, seems harmless. However, it is responsible for betrayals, wars, conflicts, and evils that plague the world. Therefore, be careful with this thought. It is silent. It appears suddenly, and if not fought, it settles in the mind to control attitudes, desires, and emotions. Eliminate envy by rejoicing in the achievements of others. Always keep in mind, I'm happy for this person's victory, because it shows that I can be victorious too. By being happy for achievements that are not yours, in the future you will feel the same happiness of victory. Virtue lies in good deeds. Challenges create doubts, anxiety, worry, and insecurity in the mind. These emotions can be masked by pride, anger, envy, and contempt. Feelings that prevent you from having a lighter life. It's possible that you know what needs to be done, but feel weak or small to do it. The truth is that we are full of tools and virtues that often we do not know how to use. Have you ever thought about the size of ants and how together they can create a huge anthill? This shows that we shouldn't diminish our ability to promote good in the world. Virtue lies in daily good deeds. Everything that is done with trust, will, generosity, patience, and love will be useful in creating a better reality for everyone. Therefore, don't stop doing good deeds because you believe they are small and unimportant. On the contrary, for great constructions, small bricks are used. For great transformations, small attitudes are necessary. Buddha teaches us that if a person is unsuccessful in trying to avoid negative actions, he will experience suffering, even if he has a strong desire to avoid it. Likewise, if he is unable to perform positive actions in his daily life, even if he longs for happiness, he will not be able to experience it. Every form of suffering we experience, whether moments of mental discomfort or even intense and prolonged suffering, all of them originate in the untamed mind. All of these disturbances that plague and bother us refer to the matrix that underlies our existential experience, the mind. So, one thing is certain. In order to have balance, control is essential. If you're looking for a way to live a more balanced and spiritual life, don't forget to subscribe to High Vibes. Here, we walk together towards a more fulfilled life through our own spiritual growth. See you next time. Namaste.